The number every XRP holder has been watching is finally here, $2.90. That's not just a price, it's a razor's edge. The point where history could split into two very different futures. On one side lies the dream, the breakout, the rally, the long-awaited surge to $7 and beyond that could cement XRP's place as the unstoppable force in global finance. On the other side lies the nightmare, a brutal rejection, a painful slide, and a gut-wrenching reminder that even the strongest coins can stumble when the pressure builds. And right now, the charts, the whales, and even the whispers coming out of Washington are all colliding at this exact moment. What happens in the next few days could decide whether XRP holders walk away with life-changing gains or face another heartbreaking delay in the dream they've been fighting for. Because make no mistake, $2.90 isn't just a number, it's the line between hope and despair. It's the battleground where bulls and bears are locked in a war for XRP's destiny. So what comes next? Will XRP smash through resistance and rewrite the playbook with a breakout to $7? Or will this be the cruel setup, the trapdoor before the fall that no one sees coming? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why every trader, every investor, and every whale is glued to this moment, and why the decision XRP makes here could change everything. The pressure at $2.90. To understand why this level matters so much, let's step back for a moment. The last time XRP traded near this price, emotions were running just as high. It was early 2021, fresh off a massive rebound from SEC uncertainty. And XRP came charging upward, clawing back towards its old highs, but the momentum faltered. The walls of resistance stood firm, and instead of breaking out to new territory, XRP found itself trapped, suffocated under the weight of both fear and doubt. That memory is still burned into the minds of traders, which is why $2.90 has become more than just resistance. It's a ghost, a reminder of what could have been, and what could still be if XRP finds the strength to break through. But here's the critical difference this time: the market environment, the fundamentals, and the forces behind. XRP have never looked like this before. In 2021, we had hype. Today, we have momentum, regulatory clarity, whale positioning, and global adoption aligning in ways that simply didn't exist before. Now let's dig into the technicals, because this is where things get razor sharp. On the daily chart, XRP has been grinding higher after forming a classic ascending triangle pattern, a structure that traders love because it often signals explosive breakouts once resistance gives way. And wouldn't you know it, $2.90 is sitting right at the apex of that pattern. For weeks, XRP has been coiling tighter and tighter, volume shrinking, volatility compressing. That's not weakness, that's a spring winding up, and every tick closer to $2.90 makes the eventual move bigger. Look at the RSI. Not overbought, not overheated, it's balanced. The MACD turning bullish, moving averages aligning for a golden cross. Everything about this setup screams that XRP is loading the cannon. The question is, will it fire forward into open sky or misfire and collapse back into the mud? Whale behavior. And this is where things get really interesting, because while retail traders are staring at charts, the whales are moving in silence. In the past 2 weeks, on-chain data has shown massive transfers, hundreds of millions of XRP moving off exchanges and into cold storage. That's not panic selling, that's accumulation. Whales don't gamble, they position, and the fact that they're locking away supply at a moment this critical tells us they're preparing for a move that most people aren't ready for. But at the same time, there's a counterforce. We've also seen sudden bursts of sell pressure, large XRP dumps hitting exchanges, designed to shake out weak hands and test the conviction of retail. This is the classic whale game: accumulate cheap, shake the tree, and scoop up more before the real rally begins. So here's the million-dollar question: are whales positioning for the breakout to $7, or are they setting the trap for the slide? Fed and macro context. You can't analyze XRP in a vacuum. Macro pressure is the wind in its sails or the storm at its back, and right now, all eyes are on the Fed. Jerome Powell has hinted at a possible rate cut, the first in years, and that changes everything, because when the Fed cuts, liquidity flows, and when liquidity flows, risk assets surge, stocks rise, gold rises, and yes, crypto lights up like wildfire. XRP, sitting at the edge of breakout resistance, could be one of the biggest beneficiaries. But here's the flip side: if Powell backtracks, if inflation whispers louder than optimism, if the Fed decides to hold firm and delay cuts, markets could shudder, and XRP, coiled tight at resistance, could feel that shock more violently than most. This is why $2.90 matters now more than ever. It's not just a technical wall. It's the intersection of macro forces and investor psychology, regulatory context, and then there's the other elephant in the room. Regulation. The Ripple versus SEC battle that has haunted XRP for years is in its final stages, with Ripple emerging from the storm battered but not broken, and, more importantly, with legal clarity that so many other tokens don't have. For institutions, that clarity is the golden key. It's the reason banks and payment providers are circling XRP again. the reason ETF whispers are growing louder, the reason XRP is not just another speculative altcoin but a real player in the financial system. And that's why so many analysts are calling this moment the moment XRP retests $2.90 as the start of a new era, because this time, unlike 2021, there's legal certainty, there's institutional interest, there's global demand for cross-border solutions. The stage isn't just set, it's begging for XRP to take the spotlight. Scenario 1, breakout to $7. So let's play this out. Let's imagine XRP smashes through $2.90, cutting through resistance like a knife through glass. What happens next? The first surge is violent, shorts get liquidated, volume explodes, and within hours XRP could be testing $3.50, $4. Then comes the headlines, then comes the FOMO, then comes the tidal wave of retail chasing green candles as institutional money quietly flows in behind. From there, technical targets point clearly to $7, not overnight, not in a single candle, but as the natural extension of a breakout that has been years in the making. And make no mistake, if XRP breaks $2.90 with conviction, $7 isn't a fantasy, it's the next chapter. Painful slide, but we also have to face the other side. What if XRP fails? What if $2.90 proves too strong? Then the slide begins, first to $2.50, then $2.20, maybe even back to $1.80 before bulls can regroup. That's the nightmare. The not again scenario, the one that drains hope and tests conviction. But even in that pain, there's opportunity, because for those with patience, those who understand cycles, a failure at $2.90 isn't the end, it's the reset before the real move, and that's why some investors quietly call any price under $3 not a disaster, but a blessing. The last chance to load the bags before the breakout everyone knows is coming eventually. Emotional stakes. Think about it. For years, XRP holders have endured ridicule, lawsuits, delays, and disappointment. They've watched other coins surge while XRP sat trapped under a cloud. And now, standing here at $2.90, they're staring at the closest thing they've ever had to vindication. That's why emotions are running red hot, because for some, this isn't just about price, it's about being right. It's about the belief that never wavered, the patience that never broke, and that's why this moment feels less like a chart point and more like destiny. So here we are. $2.90. The line in the sand. The price where history could split into triumph or heartbreak. Will XRP finally break free, shatter resistance, and ignite the rally to $7 that investors have dreamed of for years? Or will this be the cruelest twist yet, a rejection so sharp it cuts through hope and leaves holders gasping for another chance? The truth is, the answer is coming soon, and when it does, it won't just decide the next chapter of XRP's price, it will decide the story of its believers, the fate of its critics, and the shape of the crypto market itself. So don't blink, because what happens next at $2.90 may be the moment we all look back on and say that's where it all changed.